Hello everyone, welcome to the beauty school. My name is Candice. Today we're going to take a look at isolation and the different ways that you can isolate when you are working with eyelash extensions. So this part of the process is integral to make sure that you have really nice placement, that your client has retention with their lashes, and the overall health of the lash. So if you're not isolating right, you can cause all sorts of issues, and that includes pulling out the lashes as the lashes grow, discomfort for the client, and ultimately the lashes aren't going to last. So I'm going to show you with a few different tweezers and your different options when isolating. And if you are beginning, it is important that you really master this step before you proceed to start creating those full sets. Okay, ow, just stabbed me. All right, hot. All right, so when you're isolating, you can use different sorts of tweezers. I like to use the nice straight ones. I have always used these, so I find this the easiest. With the straight ones, you just have to make sure that the angle that you're working with, you're sort of working above the lash. You're not flat, otherwise you're not going to get to the base of the lash. Otherwise, you can use more of your curved tweezer. So this is great for people who like to work a little bit flatter with their wrist, and it'll just isolate nicely. Or you can work one that's slightly angled but with a long arm. With your really angular tweezer with a short arm, I wouldn't recommend this because you need something with a bit more of an arm so that you can divide those lashes a little easier. So this is always going to be my pickup lash. So with isolating, the number one thing you need to keep in mind is getting that lash completely on its own. So using your pickup tweezer is going to help you along the way. So what I tend to do is use this pickup tweezer and I pull the lash from either side. So we'll get this little lash on its own here. So I'm pulling the lash off to the side. This naturally has just pulled off to the side. My client has got really nicely spaced lashes, really nice long lashes, so it makes my life a little easier. However, if you are working with someone who's got really condensed lashes or short, you might find that they tend to bounce back. So you're going to have to be really stiff and hold that isolation really firmly. So pulling that off to the side on the right of that lash, I'm going to come in and create a bit of a bridge. Now you need to make sure that you're sort of resting your hand gently on the forehead. Don't hover it up here because you're worried that you're going to create discomfort for the client. It's fine, you can rest slightly. Obviously not putting too much pressure. And holding it at the base. So if you've got little baby hairs on either side of that lash, you're going to have to come right into the base and hold it there. One thing you got to be really careful about is your tweezer not slipping into the eye. Don't get me wrong, in my early days that has happened. Make sure that the client's eyes are kept shut. You're resting your hand and you're just gently placing that tweezer arm down on the pad or the tape, whatever you're using. That was quite an easy lash to isolate. What becomes more challenging is when you're isolating on the inner corners. You really need to use your pickup lash. And you also I use my pinky or I use my ring finger, whatever's easiest at the time. What I would suggest, and I'm not the best example at the moment because I've got nails, is if you're lashing all the time and you're new to it, maybe don't have lashes because they tend to get in the way, they tend to scratch. I most definitely have done that. So using one of those fingers, pull the lid in the direction that you need. So if I'm trying to get into those inner corners, I will come in with either my pinky or my ring finger and pull it out of the way so I can get that lash by itself. Now I'm not pushing down on that lid, I'm just gently moving that skin so it's not uncomfortable for the client. The other thing you need to factor in is maybe you want to tape that upper lid. If your client is more mature aged, if they've got hooded eyes, if they've got deep set eyes, if they've got a little lid, taping that is going to help move those lashes up and away from the tape and hopefully spread them out a little bit. So I'm going to maneuver that skin slightly, come in and find that lash that's by itself, and I might need to maneuver my body a little bit. I might need to come in on the angle, make sure that my wrist is on an angle too, come in underneath with my pickup tweezer and get that lash by itself. Now the next challenge is going to be picking up and placing on that inner corner. That's another video. But maneuver your wrists, maneuver your tweezers, use your pickup tweezer to pull off to the side. Make sure that you're working with your materials that you've got. If you've got tape, tape up those upper lids. If you find that working with a curved tweezer or an angular tweezer is easier, use that. Don't feel like that you're forced into a corner and use exactly what was taught to you, because you'll find that other tools are easier for you. So have a little play around and make sure that you're keeping a steady hand, and a steadiness will come over time. So don't put the pressure on yourself to pick it up straight away, and make sure that you're holding that tweezer at the very base, and that is just going to help any of those little baby hairs on either side not come into the mix and not be glued down with the lash. So keep working on that isolation. Over time, your steadiness will become more controlled and you'll get that perfect isolation, which ultimately will create beautiful retention for your eyelash extensions. So like I said, find the tool that works best for you and work on getting that steady hand, holding that tweezer in place, and watch out for those baby lashes on either side, because they like to be lashed too and they can cause all sorts of trouble. So work on that isolation and you'll get some beautiful full sets and good retention for your clients. So if you like this video, make sure you press that like button, you subscribe, you make sure you press that bell button so you get notifications, and please drop us any comments if you've got any questions or anything else you want to know. Thanks for watching. See ya.